Okay, everybody, we're going to do a interesting combination of different drawing styles. So what we're going to do first is separate our paper into three main areas or shapes. So I'm going to just draw some sort of rectangle here. And some sort of blobby figure there. I don't really care what this looks like. You know, you could separate it into thirds if you wanted to. You could do a more geometric design. So that you have 1, 2, 3, something like that. Or it could all be one, two, three, weird blobs. So, what I'm going to be drawing here is a little stegosaurus. The idea for this project is that we're going to be drawing something that reminds us of our childhood. I was obsessed with dinosaurs. So I'm going to draw a little dinosaur toy. Now, what I'm going to do is start out by sketching where everything goes. And I'm taking my measurements, running my angles, just like I always do. Remembering to draw light until I get it right. You know what? That went off the page. I'm not even going to bother with it. I'll make the head go off the page too and just make him a little bigger. I'm going to switch to a time lapse so that you don't have to watch me do this entire thing. But essentially, the three different areas are going to be sketch, and then refined line, and then shading. Okay? So watch along as I finish out this drawing. So all I'm doing here is coming in, defining and refining some of the shapes, getting ready to put in the next layers. You can see that I'm not really worried about messing up or the quality of my line. It's very sketchy, very loose and fuzzy. Things are overlapping. Things are drawn in the wrong place. See right there that I had to bring the leg up because my angles were wrong, and that's okay. You can let those lines still show. Now I'm coming in with the refined line. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to show as much detail as possible with just clean, solid lines. They change in pressure, they change in thickness, but you can see that I'm showing like the wrinkles and the folds, and I'm cleaning up any of the sketchy marks that I find. Now remember that these lines only exist in that one shape that's in between the sketchy and the shaded. This is called contour drawing. You're showing all the contours of the animal, all the edges, both interior and exterior. You're showing detail. You're being very aware of your line. You aren't going back and forth. You just push or pull the pencil in very smooth motions. So here I've started shading, but I'm also going back and adding more contour lines. I've realized that as I begin adding more detail with the shading, that I missed out on a lot of stuff with my contour drawing. So I'm going to go back and add in some of this while I work on the shading as well. I kind of bounce back and forth. Now, I use two basic methods for adding the shadows with pencil. One is by shading where the darkest area is first, and then kind of coloring in around it. And then sometimes, like up at the top, on the back of the Stegosaurus, I kind of color in a value because I know that that area is going to be darker, and then I can add some darks and erase some lights into it. So just watch what's happening and pay attention to which methods I'm using. So I jumped ahead here to putting on the finishing touches. You can see that I've finished up the shading, and I'm coming back in with my eraser, and I'm cleaning up all the sketch lines that are still showing for my refined shaded drawing area. And I'm erasing where the shapes are, where those borders that I initially drew were. I don't want them to be a part of the final drawing. I want the the borders just kind of be obvious by the change in style and not this thick outline that we see. Uh, so it's kind of adds a little element of intrigue when you erase this little bit.